So we are the Spoiler Kings, and this week the movie we decided to watch was Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke. Um, I
Scott
don't know any of the other
Derrickson
ones.
directed.
Scott,
Scott
yeah,
Derrickson.
Scott,
Mason Thames, I believe, was the main
yes,
kid.
yep,
Mason Thames, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So, you guys have a synopsis up by
Sure.
any
I
chance?
got one up. Yep.
You got one up?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll watch the trailer. Brian will give us a quick breakdown of it, and then we'll get into our likes, dislikes, and review or rating.
All right. Finney Shaw is a shy but clever 13-year-old boy who's being held in a soundproof basement by a sadistic, masked killer. When a disconnected phone on the wall starts to ring, he soon discovers he can hear the voices of the murderer's previous victims. And they are set on making sure that what happened to them doesn't happen to Finney. And that's
Bad
pretty
plan.
much it. That's it. See what they did. That whole they're dead set.
Yeah.
Make what happened. I like what they did there.
Yeah. So we'll let the trailer roll out while we talk about
I
it.
wish that synopsis had more about his sister.
Yes.
So little
Yeah.
things about Finney. So you know his dad is a terrible parent. He's a drunk, and Finney is really taking care of his dad and his sister. He and his sister are taking care of each other. That's really what's happening in this whole family. Everything. But his sister is the reason that all this stuff happened. Like, what's the name? Gwen. Gwen is the reason why they even can have leads and everything. Because what do you call it? She's like clairvoyant. Like she has these,
I guess
like these kind of visions or whatever. But I don't know how to explain it. But these are special kids, and I thought the connection between him and Gwen was really interesting, especially being based in like this late 70s. Not quite Stranger Things, but more into the middle of Nightmare on Elm Street. Jason. Right when these movies are all coming out, that's the feeling you got from this time, and I think even the way they filmed it and like all those striped shirts and all the old stuff, you could tell how old it was. I think I had one of those striped shirts in like 1980, 1985.
Mm-hmm.
You felt it being older. And I think that actually brought to the character of the entire movie.
Yeah, it definitely felt authentic in that regard, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna say some good stuff that you like, Brandon?
Oh yeah. So when it comes to horror, I'm very, very picky, I'd say. So like one thing that really stands out to me is there's two things. If a horror film sets up atmosphere, feels very atmospheric, it's really done its job. And if I'm feeling uneasy from beginning to end and on edge, then it's really done its job. And I think Scott Derrickson, the director, he did like Exorcism of Emily Rose, Sinister. He did the first Doctor Strange. He really hit those notes for me. And like we've been sleeping on how good Ethan Hawke is at playing creepers. I think between this and Moon and his stint on Moon Knight, he's really, really good at being creepy. And he's really, really good
Sinister. Sinister is one of those
Yeah.
all-time great creepy movies, and that's Ethan Hawke again. So I mean, we just forget. Yeah.
Until the end of the movie,
And,
it's like,
yeah.
most of the movie.
Yeah, and remember, like he's doing most of this movie with like 85-90% of his face covered up, and he's just emoting and being creepy with just his eyes, his voice, and his mannerisms. So I think he crushed it. He even said in an interview he was kind of hesitant to take on the role, but like as he's entering his middle age, I think like he said in an interview, I just got to be used to playing like I got to get used to playing creepy villains at this point in my career. I think he said something to that effect in a recent interview. But I really liked it. I love the atmosphere. Like what the several jump scares there were really, really caught me off guard. So I think it really like in a lot of senses of the word, it really did its job.
Yeah, it was definitely a scary movie. Like there are definitely times where I was looking at the screen and they had to pretend like I'm looking at the screen, look at the corner of the screen because I knew I was about to get scared. And you know, as I said, I'm 6'5", 280 pounds. I can't just be jumping at people. Just, if I start running, everyone's running. So I had to try to pretend like I'm not that scared.
Mhm.
Just like Brandon said, his eyes, man. There's a few times they did like a close up to like the mask, and he has these like just the eyes and like you said, the mannerism, the way he tilts his head and stuff like that, and the even the way he spoke was like he spoke kind of like cartoony. He was like,
It
"Oh,
was
you want to see a
almost like a
magic
little.
trick?" And
It was like a little
then his
boy, and then he
switch.
came in this baritone when he changes it like immediately. That was
Yeah.
creepy too.
Yeah, that was really freaky. Like how it was just like, oh, I like you, but then I gotta kill you. I was like, gee, but he just did it so well, and then he did it with his eyes too, and like the mask played so much of a role. It's like because there's times he was in the mask where it was just the bottom half, and you could or there's times it was just the top half, so you could still see his mouth, and then different faces on the mask. Like there's like it right here, you see the big grin. There was one where he was a sad face. Um, the mask alone was just one of those like scary masks that worked with what he was going after. So
Right?
yeah, it was really he was a really good creepy bad guy.
It was very, hey little boy, I have candy in the back of this van. Kind of type of movie though. I mean,
It's exactly what it was.
Come and look at this
Exactly
little candy. Gotcha.
Yeah. Which was so my girlfriend was like, I don't want to see this movie because it was just too triggering. I mean, it's not fun watching kids being abused and literally killed and stuff like that. Yeah. So
that was real sad.
I get why people kind of are put off by something like this. But also I could be wrong, but I thought this is loosely based on real life event.
I thought it was based on a book for the 90s.
It's a short story by Joe Hill, who's Stephen King's son, and Stephen King and Son, they really don't like kids. Yeah, like they just write about horrific child murder
or pets.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the atmosphere. I love that sense of dread, in that sense of like uneasiness it's set up, and and just like Brian said, it being a 70s period piece, like the way like the costuming, even the way that it was shot, just felt very, very authentic in that regard. So it was nice to, in a time where like everything wants to be Stranger Things to the point where it doesn't feel as authentic as something like Stranger Things or The Black Phone does. So it was nice to. I like period pieces that actually feel very, very rooted in said period, and this really did that as well.
You didn't have those creepy times where you see like all these kids playing, having a good time, having a good life, and then like murder. Like it was very triggering. You say that like, okay, no, this is all this good times, is the good old days where kids could go be kids. I just snatch all you guys up. It was so much like that. Even at the beginning scene was like that. I was like, what the hell? Where am I about to watch?
So real quick, I saw as I was looking, I saw this where the Grabbers, which is Ethan Hawke's character, they give him a name, right? But he's the guy who kidnaps him. He goes, his appearance was based off of this character from London After Midnight, which I 100% see. I mean, the mask, like with this grin, But then also like what he's doing with his eyes like bulging out. Ethan Hawke did that. The hair kind of frizzy out on the side. He even had the top hat, like straight up top hat part of it. So yeah, I was like, holy shit, yeah, this is definitely a remake of that character at least, or a revisioning of that character. So, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we talk about good things, I mean, Ethan Hawke, his acting was so good, as these guys kind of already talked about. And I just want to keep on just kind of harping on that relationship between Finney and Gwen. I mean, I thought that was so key and so great, and to see that. I mean, you've seen abusive fathers, we've seen fathers that don't really care about their children, but having them that be together and really take on the world together really was awesome. I loved seeing that. And the demonic stuff, whatever. It is what it is. It's a scary movie, but seeing those aspects always makes me feel good about the movie overall.
Yeah, sibling love.
That,
So
that
I don't know
was
how you
that
guys
was
feel.
very much like the heart and soul of the movie. The brother and sister relationship. I'm sorry, Tank. Go ahead.
No, go good. But
yeah, I really enjoyed that relationship, and I kind of even liked kind of the direction they went with the alcoholic father. Even he wasn't completely beyond redemption, which we see like kind of kind of like in the last roughly like quarter of the movie. So that was kind of cool to see. His resentment wasn't from a place of hate, but he was kind of fearing the same, like his daughter would go down the same path. Not excusing his behavior at all early on, but you kind of when he explains himself, when him and Gwen are talking, when Finney goes missing, you kind of get it, which was
you get
kind of,
why he is the way he is, rather than just being a drunk alcoholic kind of father, where that's very a cliche thing to do in movies, where like, oh, there's a reason why he's like that, and so it like you said, it doesn't excuse why he was what he was doing, but
yeah.
at least it was something very small and quick, but you're like, oh, okay, it makes it a little bit more understandable. Rather than just being an asshole, it's like, oh, you're an asshole because you are also messed up in the head, for
even that, the grabber. I mean, you could tell because the way he's acting, going from the high pitched voice to this deep voice, you can see that something happened to him in his childhood. At first thing I thought was like, he's been through something like this, very similar, and he's being now that tortured soul for someone else. But he literally went through the very same stuff that he's putting someone else through. You could tell because that's when the age that it happened. Like when he had a high pitched voice and all this stuff, and you can see why people are doing the things they're doing. And I think that's what also what make it more realistic, because you can see why they're doing it, why they're sociopaths, how they turn into sociopaths, because someone else did something to them too.
So before we get onto the bad things, I have one last thing. I want to see what you guys felt. I feel like Gwen, the sister, played by Madeline McGraw, she stole the show
easily.
She was great.
Ethan Hawke was great. Mason was great. She stole the show. That part where she gets beat by the dad about the whole cop kind of thing, coming after. That was amazing. Like, I mean, granted, it was a very hard thing to watch,
especially for me having little girls, but
but she was like so emotional and so like it was actually happening, and you were like actually watching like it in real life kind of thing. You know what I mean? She at that moment, I'm like, oh, she is awesome, and she was a badass. Actually, the actual character Gwen was, I thought, a badass. But I think the first scene where Vinny is in the bathroom with the other boy after he beat up the bully, and his acting was kind of a little
here and there, kind of a little shaky.
But and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be one of those kind of movies with kid acting, like it's like one of their first movies. she though blew it out of the water for me. She was so good, and her role in the movie was really good as well. And I thought she crushed it. She crushed it. And Ethan Hawke is obviously the face of this movie. She is definitely the driving force of this movie. You know, I feel like
the show stealer.
Yeah, I mean, even the little kid with Mason was alone 80% of the movie. Yeah,
it's true.
80% of the movie, he wasn't with anybody. You know, he's talking to a ghost.
Talking on a phone. Yeah. He was good.
He was spending, most of his screen time, acting like on his own, which was impressive. And he really conveyed, like the desperation, the helplessness, the frustration, all those things that anyone would go like that. Like he really hats off to him for sure.
Yeah.
All right, what about the bad stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I'll let you guys go first.
I think as far as the runtime was probably the movie's worst enemy. It could have been a little bit shorter. I'd say there was kind of parts where it kind of dragged, really just for the sake of drag. Every movie needs to be like the better part of 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes roughly.
It was an hour 42 minutes, but it felt like they ran out of story to tell, and they were just dragging along something for they're beating a dead horse. And if you're doing that, then maybe you should have written a better movie. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you should have added some more detail to something, or did something else to add to the movie. The movie was very simple. It was a very simple concept of a movie. And for it to feel like it's dragging on and only be an hour 40 minutes is just not good. And that's my biggest concern. Most horror movies can have good pacing. That's when a good horror movie has great pacing, and that's why you don't know when to jump or any of that stuff. I feel like the pacing was missing a little bit. Though it was I do like the movie. I don't want you thinking I didn't like the movie. I did like this movie a lot, but the pacing had left something to be wanted.
Yeah, this left something to be desired. Yeah, I definitely agree. I also think the twist with the brother at the end, it kind of just seemed there. This is a character that pops up like once the police like interrogate him very briefly, and he was almost like a brief kind of comic relief character. I almost feel like completely, and it really wouldn't have made much of a difference. He was just very much. Yeah,
it was literally to try to lengthen the movie to make it enough time. And literally, that was 12 minutes. That was unneeded, and it just wasn't a long movie. It wasn't a movie that's made to go to a movie theater to see. It is a movie that would have been excellent on Netflix. Like one of those, when you watch it on Netflix, it'll be like number 1 or number 2 for the whole week. Like it's that good of a movie. I mean, this movie had to be re-released. Like it's like an indie film that had to be re-released because it's a good movie. Just shouldn't been that long, and it should be a short film. That's on Prime.
I mean, it could have gone away with an hour 30.
If you shaved off that 12 minutes, made it a solid hour 30.
It's for a horror film. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, I thought that would have been good enough. That would have been more than enough.
I mean, I'm not there like where you guys are saying like it dragged that point. I didn't feel like it dragged like that, but I see what you guys are talking about. Like I felt like that was pretty good, but the pace, like I guess the pacing where there was times where like it did skip into like was it Vance's memory? There's parts where I'm like I was like, wait, hold on a second. you know. But
Mhm.
besides that, you know, I'm trying to think of they're the parts that were kind of like a little off-putting. You know, I mean, it was hard to watch at parts at times. There was an article that I saw like right now where it said, I guess there's a scene where the movie studio didn't want it to be in there because of the content of it, like how graphic it was. But he's like, no, it's staying in the film. I'm trying to look for it again, but I can't find it again. But I was kind of curious to see which scene that is. Um, but yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
I'd be
know.
curious to see which one it was.
Yeah, if I see it, I'll put it in a Spoiler Kings Facebook group. Um, but I don't know if it has a pacing issue, because I do feel like I had like a little bit of pacing issue especially maybe at the beginning part, was I'm like I wasn't sure what I was in for until he got kidnapped. But
Mhm.
yeah, I guess that part of it for me dragged. But once he got kidnapped, it was kind of like it was nonstop for me until the very end. The brother thing. I think that might have thrown me off.
It was not needed. It was
Yeah,
very needed.
Yeah, it was just it just it was very, like I said, you could have cut. No one would have noticed a thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
just kind of like, why? Because he. Go ahead.
yeah, I get you. I mean, was it McGraw and or Thames, whatever, or the best part of the movies besides Ethan Hawke?
Yeah, yeah.
Those kids were the best part of the entire movie. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they, as you say, like the desperation, the neediness, the fear. They really brought that out, and that's hard for young teenagers, almost teenagers, and to be able to do. That's the best part of the whole thing. But then that's what
Yeah,
reminded me of Stranger Things. Like because it's in the past. These kids are really carrying the show. And I don't know if it gets more traction now because of Stranger Things or what, but it was good.
mm-hmm.
yeah,
So
yeah. It was a solid, scary movie. Um, oh, that being said, you guys want to get right into the
yeah,
ratings
the
then?
right ranking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. So we do our rankings a little bit different here. Our ratings. So we either rate it a now, later, or never. We don't mess with that. Two thumbs up, two thumbs down, or 1 through 10, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
now means you got to drop what you're doing, go watch it. It's worth it. Later means you can wait till it's on streaming. If it's on streaming, you can wait till you're washing dishes and watch it. It never means just skip it. It's not even worth it. So that being said, what do you guys uh give this one? We'll start off with Brandon.
I would give this one a very high later. It's not necessarily anything that you need to like rush out or see. It's not like it's not like a summer blockbuster. It's not like a Top Gun or anything like that. But it is very, very entertaining. Uh, it, you know, this is like like Saturday night indoors type movie. You're chilling out. You want like a little something, like a good like horror thriller to watch. I'd say pop this on. It's nothing you need to rush out for. Great as it is, but you're definitely going to get your time's worth, and if you're paying for it, you're going to get your money's worth. Be it on streaming services, if you rent it on digital or whatever. So in that regard, nothing to rush out to see. But when you do, you're going to stay entertained and you're going to stay invested. So that said, I'd give it a very high later.
If I'm
What you
tiering it, I'm going to put it on the now tier, but on
Mm-hmm.
the bottom half of the now tier. Very similar to what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, but like I feel like it's good enough. I wanted to be on the good tier. This is a good movie,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yes,
you know, it's probably one of my top 4 or 5 movies I've seen this year. You
totally.
know, but that doesn't mean that I want it's a right now. It's a nowish type of movie though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, man, I feel like if Thor wasn't coming out next week,
Mhm.
or not, well, you got Minions coming out. I take that back.
Minions
It's
is
probably a
coming out.
now. Yeah, Minions coming out. I think it's a now. Because I was thinking like, no, nothing's gonna compete against that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go see a movie without the kids next week, I think Black Phone is right up there for it. You know, it's
Yeah.
good. It's scary. Um, it has some parts where you kind of like appreciate, I think, the things that you have around you a little bit more and this and that. And if you had I don't know, it just had like good Stranger Thing vibes, like Brian said. For me, it's a now. It was fun.
Mhm.
I don't think you need to go see it right now, like like Top Gun and stuff. But next weekend, you're going to a Friday night movie, and you really don't want to deal with a bunch of kids in the Minions theater. There's not going to be any kids in this theater, guaranteed.
Mhm.
Guaranteed, there's not going to be any kids in this theater. So it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I'm giving it now.
Yeah, I
And
liked it a
also,
lot.
yeah,
I almost I was kind of but I'll stick with my very high later.
yeah, yeah.
The,
Which I
the, the only reason I put it in the now tiers is I just wanted to put it in a good tier. Like, this is a good movie. It's
Mhm.
just
It really is.
it's top 5 movie that's come out this year for me.
yeah. I mean, there's like movies like Top Gun where like
You have
call
to
off
go out
work
see now.
tomorrow and go see it right now.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
this you can wait. Wait. On the weekend when you're going to see a movie, and I think
Mhm.
you won't be disappointed. And then I might be spoiling the Baker's reviews here. So also go check out Baker Reviews on YouTube. He said Black Phone was incredible. It's currently my favorite horror / thriller movie of 2022. So there's his thought of this one. And then we also got
We can say the
the
same thing though, can't we? That it is. It's the favorite
yeah.
one
Yeah.
this year.
I mean, there's not many,
I
but
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a very jaded view on horror movies because like when a horror movie is good, like it's bad, it's really, really bad. And unfortunately, it seems like more often than not, there's more bad ones than good ones. So it's nice to kind of find, like come across like these diamonds in the rough, like, like the Black Phone, So I was, yeah, it was, like I said, very seldom does horror do it for me, but when it does, it really does. And this one, of course, really did.
yeah, I agree. And then I guess also the critics on Rotten Tomatoes also agree with you. So they gave it an
Yeah,
84% out of 175 reviews. Pretty good. And then the audience
yeah.
also gave it a 90% out of 1,000 verified ratings. So
Wow.
both
That's
both up
interesting.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So critics liked it, audience liked it. So I mean, for me, when both are high like that, that's definitely a now category. Like it should fit in the now for us. Um, but yeah, it's fun. It's I
Mhm.
won't say it's fun. It's an entertaining, scary kind of horror film with really a great cast. Like you don't notice it right away, but once it starts going down, and you really start feeling for these characters.
Right.
Well, at least
Yeah.
for the kids. So, and that's our review on the Black Phone. So, but we are recommending this movie. I think we got 2 nows and a later. Anything else, guys, before we head out?
No,
I
I,
think
I, I
that was,
enjoyed the movie. Go see it. This is good. These children,
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, feel the show. Anything last, Brandon?
Yeah. That's pretty much all on my end.
Okay, cool. So let's get out of here. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so when we go live. We're live every Monday and Wednesday. We talk about movies, we talk about TV shows on Wednesday. So we have a lot of fun here, and we nerd out. So especially you want to subscribe to the channel when Love and Thunder comes out, because we are going to lose our damn mind. We're
Right.
probably gonna
Oh,
start
I'm
early
so
that day because
excited.
that's gonna be such a long episode. I can already
We could lose our mind over Stranger Things if someone watches it.
tell. gonna happen.
Watch it before Eddie goes on the upside down, starts playing the guitar. Damn it.
Oh man, yeah, it's on my list.
Oh, I can't wait for it. It's going to be the most metal scene ever. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
You don't even know who Eddie is. It's terrible.
No, I've seen the trailers though. Enough. But all right. But yeah, so make sure you guys subscribe. But that is it from us this week. Next week we're talking about Minions: The Rise of Gru. So very different movie, very different vibes, but I think it's gonna be very, very fun. So see you guys next week. Later.
May the force be with you.
See ya.